I dedicate this to the lotus feet of my Guru, His Holiness Maharishi Mahesh Yogi. I am attempting to speak the essence of Maharishi's translation and commentary on the Bhagavad Gita. I have read it myself so many times. Thousands and millions enjoy it and gain the knowledge. But there are several who say it is hard to read and comprehend. It is for those I attempt to bring the essence without diluting and distorting this great knowledge given by my Guru, His Holiness Maharishi Mahesh Yogi. After hearing this, I request all of you to read Maharishi's words directly from the book. His words are the darshan. They are the darshan of the Guru himself. Jai Gurudev. I start with what Maharshi said in the preface. The Vedas are the lighthouse of eternal wisdom, leading man to salvation and inspiring him to supreme accomplishment. This is his opening sentence. Now, the Vedas reveal the unchanging unity of life, which underlies the evident multiplicity of the creation. And this reality is both manifest and unmanifest. The omnipresent eternal being is unmanifest and absolute, and the manifest creation is the diversity and the multiplicity. The omnipresent eternal being and the unchanging unity is referred to as that. So the Vedas say, that alone is. I am that, thou art that, and all this is that, and this is the truth. This is the kernel of the Vedic teaching, and the rishis extol this teaching as worthy of hearing, contemplating, and realizing. The further truth of this perennial philosophy of the Vedas is that even in the manifested diversity of the creation, there is every possibility of the realization of being by every man. And this realization is in terms of himself, that is, the self-realization. The self-realization as the being itself. Now, the truth of Vedic wisdom, by its very nature, is independent of time, and so it can never be lost. But when a man is confined within the ever-changing phases of existence and loses sight of the never-changing being, which is the source of all that is changing, his vision becomes one-sided and he loses the balance and the stability of life, and he begins to suffer. The ideal pattern of life, with the being as the source, is forgotten, and the suffering continues and grows. And in the history of the times, this has happened many, many times, and there are records of many such periods. So during these various times, then the invincible force of nature moves to set the man's vision right and establish a way of life which will again fulfill the higher purpose of his existence. Now, who recorded this Bhagavad Gita in the Mahabharata? It is Vedavyasa, the sage of enlightened vision, and he records the growth of unrighteousness in the families of those who ruled the people about 5,000 years ago. It was then that Lord Krishna came to remind man of the true values of life and living. He restored the direct contact with the transcendental being. He brought to light the absolute being as the basic reality of life and established it as the foundation of all thinking, which in turn is the basis of all doing. He brought to light the true philosophy of the integrated life, and this integrated life is the philosophy of being, thinking, and doing. So he established the fact that being, absolute being, is the basis, and it is the foundation of all thinking, and which in turn is again the basis of all doing. So this teaching helps the doer to gain success in all his undertakings, but at the same time he also sets him free from the bondage of action and bringing fulfillment at every level. This is the teaching of the eternal truth given by Lord Krishna to Arjuna in the Bhagavad Gita. Then in course of time, gradually, this teaching came to be forgotten, and after 2000 years later, this principle as the absolute reality, that being is the absolute reality and is the source and basis of all creation, has been overshadowed. Only the relative aspects of life were glorified in this misguided belief. The society became dominated by the superficial outlook, and the insight into the reality of the being was lost. The philosophy of the integrated life restored by Lord Krishna was lost from view. The idea grew that everything which life can offer is present on the obvious level of existence, and therefore it would be useless to aspire to anything that lies deeper. Once the society became dominated by the superficial outlook and then lost the insight into the reality, the right sense of values were forgotten and the stability of life is destroyed. Tension, confusion, superstition, unhappiness, and fear prevailed. Then Lord Buddha came, and he came to remedy the situation. He found the field of action distorted, and he came with the message of right action. He spoke from his level of consciousness, established in being, in eternal freedom, the nirvana. He taught the philosophy of action in freedom, and he advocated meditation in order to bring the purity in the field of thought. During meditation, the field of thought came into direct contact with the being, and this in turn brought the state of right action in society. Lord Buddha's message was complete because he incorporated the fields of being, thinking, and doing in his theme of revival. He advocated the practice of transcendental meditation and the realization of being as the basis of a good life. But again, in course of time, his followers failed to correlate these different fields of life in a systematic manner through this practice of transcendental meditation. And the realization of being as the basis of a good life became obscured once again. Not only did the whole structure of his teaching become distorted, but it was also turned upside down. The right action came to be regarded as a means to gain nirvana, whereas in reality, the right action is the result of this state of consciousness in freedom. It has been the misfortune of every teacher that while he speaks from his level of consciousness, his followers can only receive his message on their level, and the gulf between the teaching and understanding grows wider with time. Without the emphasis of this primary necessity on realization of the being, the very foundation of his teaching was shaken. So, within 300 to 400 years, all real connection between the essential teachings of Lord Buddha and the daily life of his followers had disappeared. Again, this insight into the principles of the integrated life has been lost. Having forgotten the prime importance of realization of the being, the society became immersed once more in the superficialities of life. Once again, the balance and the stability of life have been destroyed. Nature will not allow humanity to be deprived of the vision of reality for very long. So a wave of revival brought by Shankara to re-establish the basis of life and renew human understanding came forth. We will continue. Jai Gurudev.